Amabel.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hello.
Happy AAPI month still. And we have yet another Asian person representative come up to share with us her story. So today is May 25th, and we had a really fun discussion yesterday with a panel of 6 of us. And I hope if you have not tuned in, I hope you catch the replay. But today we have a special guest, Amabel, and Amabel is from Costa Rica. How fun. So I'm gonna let Sarah go ahead and kick off the program, and then we're gonna get to Amabel momentarily.
Of course I will. Thank you, Lee. Hey, hello everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for returning to our episode today. It's my job to kick off the show, and I will introduce myself very quickly. So I'm Sarah M. I'm from Cambodia. While I was in Cambodia, I enjoyed my childhood, but my country turned horrible during the takeover of the Khmer Rouge communists. When they came in, they basically destroyed our life and destroyed our country. I struggled for 4 long years that I almost did not make it, but thank goodness I hold on to my courage and determination, and I survived. And God protected me to escape and also to be able to get out. So that's why I'm here, and I'm forever grateful. And I wrote my story in the book, and it's available on my website, sarahm.com. Right now, to continue to spread the message, to give people hope, not ever give up any hope. So I'm going to speak. So Lee and I, we both are speakers. You ever need somebody to inspire your audience, just reach out to us. That's all I want to say today. Back to you, Lee.
Thank you, Sarah. So Sarah and I have been on this forum for over a year now. And this month's theme is we're talking about courage and determinations to honor AAPI month. So my stories, you see my backdrop today, I get on the ocean. I'm not a good swimmer, but because I come from a boat people background, I don't know what's going on. I hope the internet is not going crazy with me. So I thought it would be a change of my stories. You see my backdrop today, I get on the ocean. I'm not a good background, I don't know what's going on. I hope the internet is not going crazy with me. Somebody's having the mic on. Can you check to see if anybody can turn off the mic? Something is not right.
It's come through Amabel's microphone.
Oh. Okay, yeah, we have echo problem.
Okay.
I have been on the internet a couple Zoom, and they're all wacky. I mean, I'm hoping they will not get boots out and boot back in.
Yeah, you are okay, Lee.
Okay, so sorry, I'm gonna continue. So my background is also from a refugee standpoint, and we've been here for 40 years, and finally be able to polish my voice and speak up for myself and for a lot of Asian community, just to encouraging people, like Sarah said, we want to encouraging people to share their story, so we can have that communication, because without talking to each other, we're not going to have a stronger bond. So that's what we have in this opportunity here. And let me read Amabel's bio really quickly, and then I'm gonna have her tell us about her story and her passion. Seems like she's got a lot of passion, but let me quickly introduce Amabel. Amabel is a multi-passionate, integrative healing artist, a mental health expert, advocate, speaker, writer, certified holistic wellness coach, and certified yoga teacher. How fun. She specialized in empowerment and advocacy for women, especially women of color. Amabel is using her vulnerability and authenticity in connecting with others. She is a certified peer counselor, professional online peer counselor trainer. Amabel is also a speaker for NAMI's in Our Own Voice program, moderator for BIPOC Mental Health Forum on Facebook, and also RISE Global Ambassador for Costa Rica, RISE standing for Radiant Initiative for Sustainable Education. Amabel can be found as a moderator on Clubhouse and often found in the ocean. How fun, because now I have the ocean in my backdrop. So, but I'm gonna let you explain, Amabel, a little bit more about all those acronyms that you have in there, and tell us about your story, because it sounds so very, very interesting. You sounds like you work with women from young to old, all ages.
Yes, thank you, Leah.
Welcome, yeah.
My name is Amabel, and I'm so happy to be with you. I just want to say that it's really an honor to be amidst two of you powerhouse women, resilient and courageous, and sharing your light and your resilience for others. So I admire you, and I'm really grateful and honored to be with you tonight. So about me, I grew up in a military family, and one of the things that was difficult was that my father was in the Navy, my mother was working a lot, and I was raised quite a bit by my older brother, and he ended up joining the military as well.
Oh,
he
wow.
became a Marine for 27 years. And so the military influence had quite a big impact on my life, and feeling some neglect and some loneliness as a child without that bond from my father. And in a family in which there were 4 of us kids, we were always trying to outcompete each other and outshine each other, and to get some, attention and some accolades. And I used my academics to stand out, and I became a scholar and an athlete and active in student government and in my church. And it all came crashing down in my late teens when I was in junior college, and I experienced a bout of mania, part of bipolar disorder, or bipolar condition, I like to say. And it was all very new to me. I thought I was being punished by some invisible demons that were out to get me. I was wondering, why am I being persecuted if I'm trying to be a good daughter, I'm trying to be a good student, a good citizen in the community? Why me? Why am I being attacked mentally? And why do I have these delusional thoughts in my head, just racing, and some paranoia? And I felt so alone, because at the time, nobody was talking about the stigma because of the cultural implications of being a Filipina and being in a close-knit community where how your family presents itself is about pride, it's about honor. And I thought I was bringing a lot of shame and embarrassment upon my family, because I wasn't that perfect poster child of what a young woman should be. And it really dawned on all of us that just because someone presents themselves as very articulate, very bright, it doesn't mean they're not removed from mental health challenges, or that they don't face these very real life and death situations. So I did struggle with some suicidal ideation, and was fortunate enough to have that family support, because my family didn't shun me, where in a lot of communities that does happen, where, oh, they will pretend it doesn't happen, or will just keep it a secret from other people, that, oh no, she wasn't in the hospital for that, she had a heart problem, or they'll make something up just to present a certain face. And so, you know, I lost a childhood friend who happened to be Filipino in my community of a town called Bremerton in Washington State. And it was then that I realized I have a responsibility to be a voice, if I can, to speak on Mikey's behalf. He's no longer with us, and I didn't want his passing to be in vain. And I knew that so many people are silently struggling with these things, and because of the shame, they're just muffled in silence and isolated and just by themselves. And so I joined this work reluctantly because I was so scared. When I received the diagnosis, I thought my life was just screwed. I thought I wasn't going to be able to finish college. I wasn't going to get a good job. I wasn't going to find a partner that loved me for me, because I didn't feel like I was worthy. I didn't feel like I was a whole person because of my defects or my imperfections. And so I really had to look beyond myself and look to the hope that I could try to instill in other people who maybe they don't have a brown woman as a role model, or at least a spokesperson. I'm not perfect. I'm not speaking on behalf of all Filipinos or all Asian people. However, not enough of us are speaking out. And so I feel so compelled and blessed to have finished college. I earned my communication degree from Western Washington University. I received an internship in New York City. I worked at Lifetime Television and Discovery Channel. And now I'm using my voice and my platform to empower and instill some inspiration in women of color. And really, it's really my goal is to serve all people, but I really especially want to hold those individuals who identify as female, as women of color, because of a lot of what society has placed upon us in terms of barriers and the conditioning that has kept us down and kept us with our limited beliefs that, oh, we can't speak out, or we can't take up space, we can't be vocal, or we can't be opinionated because of repercussions, or, oh, that's being rude. That's not how your mom raised you. But I want to turn the focus on empowering and emboldening other women, because our voices are so powerful.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for your vulnerability with us, to tell us your story, which is really hard as an Asian woman. I can very understanding that. First of all, I think lots of us don't realize it, but a lot of Asian people come from trauma. And being in the military, it's a rough life. And I'm just surprised that you're not ending up joining the military yourself. But and teenager is such a critical years of chemical imbalance, hormonal, and things that, that's why teenager suicidal rates is just so much higher than most of the population. And I want to commend you for working things out. And it is very common for us, many of us have that stigma and feel like we have to deal with that by ourselves. And by taking the step to actually addressing the problem and, not worry about professional, because I know a lot of people who are afraid that being in a professional, you can't tell them you have bipolar or you deal with any mental issue, because people immediately not saying that is she or he trustworthy? Can they handle this project? It's like a lot of things that the society just put a stamp right on, especially finding job is not an easy thing to do when you say, I have a history of suicidal or bipolar or, but it is real. I wonder, a large population out there that still live in silence and not willing to accept that because they're afraid of being labeled and being cast aside. So for what you have been doing and move forward, and not just to straighten out your own lives by seeking out help and going through things and straighten everything you do, but now you're bringing that voice to help others, especially I think the color women like us, a lot of time we do live in silence, and we were hoping that we can cope by ourselves at night when nobody knows about, and then we're just pacing around in the house and trying to hold that stomach and trying to not throw up, and then we'll go away in the morning because nobody knows, right? But it is courageous. It is courage that get us out of it.
Yeah.
And I think it feels so good when you be able to heal by talking about it.
Yeah, I commend you for pushing ahead in your education. You don't stop. You don't retract, or worst of all, hurt yourself. So I'm commend you for that.
Thank you, Sarah.
So you're not stopping there. So you were a counselor for teen, and you were a yoga teacher. How do you get onto all those? I think those, I want to say treatment, because life is an ongoing journey, and knowing those tools actually very helpful for maintaining yourself and also help other people. When did you figure out that it's something that you're good at and you like to do?
Oh, I've always had a strong faith, and although my parents wanted us to be doctors and lawyers, I wanted to be a writer, and I had other aspirations, and I became a writer. I'm still a writer, but when it comes to my career and the choices that I've made and certifications that I've received, it's been an organic development of one thing building upon the other or leading to another. For example, with the yoga, I wasn't always involved with it. I wish I were in my 20s. That would have saved me so much grief. But I thought, oh, yoga, I'll do that when I'm retired. It seems really slow.
I know.
There's no adrenaline.
Oh my God, yeah. Such an active achiever, it's like always want to do something, and you're an athlete. You are also, academic wise, but also physical. I mean, usually people are good one or the other. I mean, that is something to say about you. You're good at both.
Yeah, I'm blessed with pretty good genes. On both my parents have been active in volleyball, basketball, swimming. So I'm blessed with those, I guess, abilities to do certain things. And I grew up with brothers and a really also kind of rowdy athletic sister.
Are you the only girl?
No, there's 2 girls, 2 boys.
Okay. Are you the youngest?
I'm the third.
Okay.
So, yeah, boy, girl, girl, boy. And so my sister and we weren't into Barbies. We were into just physical exercise and, running. And
yeah, you got both very active parents. So
and so it just happened that my parents, especially my mom, really instilled in us girls the value of our bodies and to really take care of our bodies. And we used to hate going grocery shopping because she didn't let us get any of the sugary cereals or the candies or the cookies, and we would always be complaining about that. But it actually helped us as
now
adults.
You thank her for it, right?
Yes. Now we're like, oh, thanks, Mom. Now I understand.
Yeah.
I don't have this addiction to sugar, and I don't have other things to worry about.
You need to teach me how.
but I do have a sweet tooth, I must say. But yeah, I going back to the question of different things that have come up in my life. I'll touch on the BIPOC. I know that we talked a little, well, you might have mentioned I'm the moderator for a Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group called Mental Health. Oh my goodness.
Mental Health Forum on Facebook.
I'm sorry, BIPOC Mental Health Forum. And so BIPOC meaning Black and Brown Indigenous People of Color Mental Health Forum. I just had a
I know, so many acronyms.
Yeah, so that came about last year, and I saw that there was there were a couple of Facebook groups for people of color, but not a whole lot. And I thought, well, I've been doing this work all my life, and it seems like, well, if I offered it, I could do it in my way. And so it's become this community where we get together, we have some circles in which we talk about healing, we share resources about events like these conferences and opportunities, free counseling for women of color. That's how I got in touch with this organization called Dark Beauty, DRK Beauty. They offer free counseling for women of color. And I was able to get connected with them through one of the members of the group. And so it's been a really, great resource for people just to connect, especially now that a lot of us have been online. But it's not a high need, not high need. It's not a very intensive, like you have to be always connected to that group. It's like, it's there for you if you need like a resource.
Well, remind me, we're gonna have to invite you to this Asian Women for Health group that one of the panelists yesterday, she's hosting that, she organized that. So I'd love to invite you to meet her. Her name is Chen Chi. And, but I don't want to, I mean, I think that you will be a perfect fit.
Yeah.
You are.
Good.
Awesome. Yeah, so go ahead. So I just want to sneak that in before I forget.
Oh yeah, definitely. And in terms of just serving like other people of color, there was a disparity when I was diagnosed with bipolar in the late 90s. I didn't have any clinicians of color that were assisting me or supporting me. And although I didn't become a psychologist or therapist, I became a peer counselor. And a peer counselor is someone with a mental health diagnosis and is stable enough to assist other people in their recovery. Yeah. So be it employment or getting housing. And so I did that for a number of years in downtown Seattle. And that's how I've been able to springboard into becoming an online trainer for those future counselors. So
and you are a certified life coach too.
Yeah, and I've been blessed to receive that life coach certification this year and my yoga certification as part of a dual program. So I'm immensely fortunate and appreciative to all of the opportunities that I've been able to receive, and all the more I just want to pour out back into the community what I've been able to be gifted.
That is just so awesome. And what led you to Costa Rica? Well,
I was in a role in which I was working at a nonprofit in Seattle, and I was supporting people with developmental disabilities as an employment coach.
Okay.
Yes, so I was coaching way back when, even in athletics, but in this particular role, I was a job coach, and I decided, I want to do something different, learn some Spanish, because the Tagalog, the Filipino language, has Spanish in it. So I had an ear for language, and I did some research, and it brought me to Costa Rica, and I hadn't even visited the place, but I decided to move here in 2010.
That is wonderful. 2010. So you've been out there for that long already?
Back and forth.
Okay.
So I spent a couple of years full-time here, and then went back to Seattle. Most of my family are there. Now I've been going back and forth, but this is the longest time I've been back here in a while because I'm able to work online.
Okay. Is does the pandemic affecting your job? I mean, do you work from home now that I guess that's what you're doing, right?
Yeah, so with the peer counseling training, I'm able to work online, and it's not set hours every week or every month even. It just depends, but fortunately I'm able to log in from my computer and be, just as long as I have a good internet connection.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we didn't get kicked out, because I've got kicked out several times from the last couple Zoom. But I want to circling back about when you say that you're not a psychiatrist, but you're a peer counselor. And I think that sometimes actually it's a better position as the peer counselor, because people are trusting you more than somebody who's got a big titles and, you know, sounds so very rigid and serious. So so I think that it's probably people would open up to you a lot more freely than to those medical professions.
You're exactly right, Lee, because as my experience went when I was actively a peer counselor, I felt that I could be more accessible and people could relate to me. I could relate to them. There wasn't that barrier of power, because we are equal. And that's one of the facets or mantras of peer support is do with, not for, or power with, not over. So as long, I mean, as much as I did have a badge to distinguish me from another participant, I was an equal in their eyes. I didn't enforce, oh, well, I went through this training and I know more than you.
So what's the population of your clients or people you work with? Is that mostly teen girls or young adult women's, or?
Right now I work primarily with adults. I'm contemplating shifting that and working with younger girls as well, just to bridge that gap and hopefully do some preventative care if I can, in terms of just with the intergenerational gap that happens with, you know, daughters and their moms or their parents. Sometimes there's definitely that disconnect, and so I'm open to exploring having partnerships with parents and their daughters so that we can do that intergenerational healing together.
Well, yeah, remind me again too. I can introduce you with a couple people who are working a lot with teenagers. So I don't know if you want to make that connection, but I think sometimes it's harder to work with teenagers than with adults. You think?
Oh, I'm sure they're definitely set.
They have to trust you in order to open up, because they can clam up. And sometimes I don't even know how to behave among teenagers because they're just so different.
Yeah, and I'm of the camp that I try to keep things kind of low barrier, in that I try to offer respect for everyone, even if they're like, you know, 5 years old. Because I knew how it was to be treated like, oh, you're only 11. You don't understand. Or you're a little girl, or you're treated like a little doll because you're Asian, and people act like, oh, you're just you have such a limited amount of experience because you look so young. So there's some ageism there too, but I think, there are definitely, I can only imagine there could be a lot of challenges and benefits with working with teens. I think one of them is that I learn from all the populations that I work with. So, you know, being a sponge, it's like, oh, well, I'm not always the authority, even though that I have maybe, you know, twice the life, 3 times the life as they do. Like, I'm still a lifelong learner. So I also practice that cultural humility of being in a position where, hey, let's learn together. In fact, I was speaking with a client last week, and I believe she's 28, and I was just blown away by the amount of wisdom that
Yeah.
she exuded. And I was like, wow, if I had that kind of,
I know, right? Sometimes they,
I was like, you should be coaching, or yeah, you should be coaching me.
sometimes like, wow, you know, where have you been? I should have talked to you. It's like some of them, I feel like we can learn a lot from the younger people, especially the millennia. I think they're just very wise. Some of them are really wise.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely a wake-up call to not use like an age as
right,
a
at the
indicator
gauge,
of,
right.
oh, well, let me help you, because I've lived longer. But
No. I don't know if Sarah have any question. I know that we're
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
to.
I'd like to know what is your approach to maintaining mental health as a business owner?
my approach to mental health is the same as a business owner or as an employee of a company. Although I'm speaking from my current stance right now, having learned what not to do as an employee, which was overdo everything, over accept all of the tasks and put on all of these responsibilities to prove my worth or to prove my capability. And today I really listen to my body. And I'm grateful that I can rest when my body is like, okay, you need to close your eyes and get off the computer, because
Yeah.
your eyes are so dried out that you can't even blink, and like there's no moisture left in your eyeballs. And then just like listening to my body in that, I'll do a body scan of, okay, how are my shoulders? Am I like hunched over, or am I,
Yeah.
how am I feeling right now? Do I feel really tense? Have I gotten outside, took the puppy out for a little walk? Have I done the key things that make me feel grounded, including actually grounding, like earthing, like putting my feet in the dirt or the sand, and really just letting myself connect to the earth's core and nature, to just really remind me that no matter what is happening on the surface or material in my material world, just drawing some inspiration from the trees around me, and just letting just getting lost in each moment of, okay, this gust of wind, what is this gust of wind telling me? Maybe it's my ancestors speaking through me. And so just these little techniques that help me feel connected to both my ancestors, the earth, and to my physical space.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need a moment of pause and get yourself out of the thing that you immerse in there, and then just realize that I got to pay attention to me first, and then everything else will come. But that's just a great thing. I love the I wish I could say I guess my garden is a lot of sand. Yes, I can do, but ants gonna bite me. I won't be able to do that. Costa Rica is definitely a place to put your feet in the sand, and I would do that. But this is just so amazing and very courageous for you to share with us your past, your story, and how you help other women, especially colored women. And I applaud you for that, because that is not enough of us out there. I mean, I don't want to talk about me, but there's a certain time I felt like maybe I should talk to a therapist or somebody. And it's like, but there's no one in the same background that I can talk to that would understand me. It's like, as much as I love, I don't want to discriminate, but sometimes you go to a doctor or you go to somebody and you didn't think that they came from the same culture or experience. They would not able to understand the struggle that you think it's a struggle. For them, it might be strange. Why couldn't you talk about that? You know, so it is very critical to have somebody who actually in that same situation or same background or same culture be able to help the people that who needs help. So and I think it's probably a great demand out there, especially preventative care, which is where will lead to or stop the further of body destructions or suicidal thoughts and all those things. So how can people find you, Amabel? I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I am on Facebook. I am also on Instagram. I believe you dropped some of the links in the...
Yeah, you can drop it on there. So you work with people globally?
Yes,
I have that with Zoom.
World is my office.
Yeah.
I'm now accepting individuals for my one-on-one individual coaching program.
Okay.
And I also recently offered an opportunity to work with me as a group. So this is an ongoing process, but let me know if you would like to join the wait list for Homecoming, which is a exploration.
I love the name. I love the name.
It's like coming home to who you really are, your truth. And the idea is it's healing through embodiment and connecting with, you know, ancestral veneration, embodiment work, a lot of holistic practices like movement, dance, breathing.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so just get in touch with me, either Facebook or Instagram, and I'd love to hear about how I can support you and how I can help with your own conversation with yourself and your healing process.
Right. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us from Costa Rica. Any last words, Sarah?
No, I appreciate I appreciate you sharing all this important step that we sometimes a lot of people really need it, but they don't know exactly where, what, when, you know, how. So now here's another wonderful resource available. So the world is your office.
Yes.
Yeah.
And thanks to you, Sarah, and thanks to you, Lea, that we are able to have this conversation and open up the communication and exposure to these resources that, you know, not only myself, but all of the wonderful speakers that you've had to connect us all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, you know, sometimes you don't even have to be there to reach out. Sometimes even just collaborating can expand to different projects. And don't think that, oh, I'm not depressed, I don't really need it. But sometimes a healthy conversation will prevent any future things. That we all have our ups and downs. We all have our peaks and valleys. And sometimes a certain day in the valley that we can have a resource and go back to and say that, oh, I don't really have to go down that road. I can actually climb myself up before I went down. So these are all great resources and great collaborations, and I want to really honor that the AAPI month this year has been very strong. I've never really hear anything in the past as strong as this year's, maybe because the Asian hate crimes. I think that would be a, you know, one good side product of it. I want to optimistically saying that it brings out awareness for the minority, especially the Asian Pacific Islanders that are facing a lot of hidden things that we don't reveal ourselves. And then we get to a PTSD and, you know, and it's just really harder and harder to get out. So instead of waiting to get there, let's start a conversation right now and help us, help the community, and everybody wins. Well, thank you for listening in, everyone. And thank you again, Amabel, for being here. And Sarah and I is gonna have one more guest on this Thursday. Also Asian, and his name is Lea Tran, no relation, but is also a Tran. And then next Monday is really, really important. We have a Memorial Day next Monday, and we're gonna have two, not one, two veterans come up and share with us their story. One actually served in Vietnam, and the other one was actually rescuing some boat people out in the sea in the 70s period. So I'm really, really excited to have them on. But well, thanks again, and everybody have a great night. We're gonna sign off. Goodbye.